Morning! Today we are farming.
That shouldn't really come as a surprise to you because that's kind of what we do here.
In all seriousness, there's a tad bit of dew on the ground, so we're going to finish up setting our 2660 vertical till. Really looking forward to running this new to us vertical tillage device with the TrueSet system. However, there are a few issues. The problem is that we have 5 hydraulic connections needed, and we only have 4 remotes. That means that a sacrifice must be made. Green is depth control. Blue is folding. Brown is gang angle. And here is where the complicated decision has to be made. Which line do we want to not have hooked up at all times? I think most people would agree that front to back leveling can be set once or a couple times a year and probably forgotten about. So we're going to plug this in, the front to back leveling up here in the 4th lever, set the levelness on this to what we think is fair, and then we can pull it off and we'll plug in our basket down pressure, because you need that. You can hear him leaving with the combine right now going to the field. So we're on the clock. The main bus connection right here. This is the brains of the system.
Why don't you do that before we take the combine over?
I have no idea, Chris. He's a hard man to figure out. Run and get some electrical contact cleaner because our connection there is a little dirty. You have to pull that little tab.
Is that on the outside?
Got a little tab on, you gotta pull the tab.
That's in the center of the thing?
No, it's like off the side of it. You pull the tab and then you twist it.
Like you do very good head.
Yeah, but you gotta pull that tab first. For the life of me, I cannot get this main computer connection to screw on, and I'm running out of time this morning. The harvest crew is already rolling out to the next field of corn, and I'm running out of time for shenanigans. Meaning that we will probably have to defer that project to tomorrow. Yeah, regretting not getting the power tarp more and more every morning. Can't feel my hands this morning. 370 is good on oil. Time for the second combine to fuel up. We're headed to the field. Disregard what I just said. Now I've got the head honcho out here fiddling with this vertical till too. Up from road transport, they put guards in, so we gotta pop these off. Off of those. It's a slow unfolder. That wing is really crawling. Like I said, we'll need to determine what kind of front to back tilt we want, set it and leave it, and then plug in the baskets. He's gonna work with it, like, okay, whatever. Looks pretty level. That's about as far as we're gonna get with that project this morning. That main bus connection's given us a lot of troubles not wanting to screw in and lock in place. So we're gonna figure that out sometime. The 670 was blocking the fuel tank, so we had to move it. Loading bins over west today with corn, so we're fueling up our auger and taking it over. Dad's combine's already over there. He's going to be bringing the auger. Katie should be bringing up the rear of the pack with the combine, and I will be in the grain cart. I think we may officially be track people here on the farm, because I had a dream last night, maybe a nightmare, depending on how you look at it, that our tracks on the cart came flying apart when I was going 32 miles an hour down the road. Let's hit the road. My dream was definitely weighing on me. I drove 30 miles an hour as opposed to 32. Don't say I never did anything nice for you. It's easier for me in the grain cart to load out in the field, straight into the trucks, into the bin, versus pulling into the bin lot. And I also destroy the yard. The auger's on its way down the road, and I'm gonna pick the ends off real quick. My work here may be short-lived. We're gonna make some room for the auger here pretty quickly. I believe this is that Pioneer 1077 that we were picking yesterday as well on a different farm. It's never a good idea to have the least experienced combine operator opening up a field like this. I think we're going to see a ton of variability on this farm in terms of yield from top to bottom. Should be enough room to set the 13-inch auger in a semi for me to dump straight onto with the cart. Or at least I hope so, because our grain tank's about full. Not that you can tell. You really get spoiled by all the cameras you put on everything. They give you great angles and access to views that you wouldn't normally have. However, they get dirty and you find yourself continuously having to upkeep them to make sure you can see the things that you're used to seeing. Those yield averages seem a little high for this farm. I guess it's not that out of line with what the looks are out here. Big ears and a good stand. I'd say we're gonna have to dump. Where's all my help at? I'm just working away here in the combine, sweating myself to death in this heated seat, and no one else is doing anything. Just kidding. But I did get the hard job. I'm stuck in the combine. They're setting the auger. How'd I get this locked? Hey, there's Katie with the other combine, just in time. Craziest thing, someone showed up here before we got to the farm and ran over all the corn on the ends on accident. It's weird how that happens. As a rookie combine operator, though, I mean, I just did the best I could to not knock any more over. It looks like the auger is set, which means I'm probably going to get kicked out of the 780 soon. There's not much of a contest here. I could lap the 670 with this combine. Where's the grain cart guy when you need him? Messing around somewhere? Some of you may recall this farm from late this spring where the co-op to the east absolutely toasted our corn all the way across for a good half mile. Once this field's harvested, we'll finally be able to draw conclusions as to whether or not that was detrimental to our corn crop. Most of the damage was in that swag through there. It carried across there. They're higher on the east side, and the wind was also out of the east. Carried all the way to the west over to the far tree line. Not this tree line, the far tree line. Corn did in fact grow out of the terrible shape it was in within about 2 weeks. We will see if there was a yield penalty for it. Take it easy on that thing, Marty. It's sensitive. I would speculate that my time in this machine is over. Are going to finish opening up this field. We're going to take the cart to the bin, put the first load in. Here's our stuff. Pretty simple stuff. I load the semi dumps right into the auger loads the bin. I will say that I think we would be a lot better off if we had one of those big, like 800 bushel wagons, because there's not enough rolling storage on here for me to just sit here and dump efficiently to keep up with the combines. I have to load the whole truck and they have to move back and forth on the pit. It's as simple as that. Without a doubt going to be another day where the Lieber cart system saves me from a few more gray hairs. Throughout this entire field is going to automatically track field totals and bin totals. No more pesky start or stopping on the Digistar scale to get weights and writing them down or putting them in a Google Doc. Everything is on this app. It's my scale head. Everything you could want right here in this system, and it's very cost effective. If you guys are in the market for something a little more advanced for your grain carts, that's plug and play. Highly recommend LibreCart. We just finished up both sides of the ditch with what I have on the cart. That corn made about 232 dry, which is extremely good for this dirt. Marty and the rest of the crew are going to top off that bin. Usually can get 11 to 12,000 bushels in it, which is right where we're at according to LibreCart. While they take care of that, we're going to move right to the north and pick another field of the same corn. Don't know if that truck will all fit or not. The next field is just directly adjacent to the north. Pretty much like the last field, I'm going to be trekking back and forth with the grain cart once they get the auger set to the new bin. This farm has a lot more clay knobs and dry hillsides, so I think we're going to see much lower yield based on the growing season we've had. The yield variability out of this field is crazy. One spot will be throwing 100s, another spot will be throwing 300s. Well, this is awkward. I guess if you're in the boss's combine, you get supreme authority. Second time today, Marty's been in the grain cart. I can get used to this. Come on, you guys knew I was getting kicked out. It was inevitable. Loading the north bin now. To do this efficiently, we probably need a second grain cart. Case in point, Kitty was stopped waiting on me. Make that point number 2. The boss's combine was also stopped. He even had some cab corn. Opening up another one. Back and forth we go. Katie's making herself at home waiting on the cart guy. Unfortunately, this is not a good farm for unloading on the go, especially for Katie's S670. There's terraces all the way across it, and terraces, unloading augers, and grain carts just don't seem to mix that well. The poor grain cart guy just does not stand a chance. Lenny, we don't stand a chance. He's got bigger fish to fry. He's eating his lunch. Allie and Lenny were on lunch crew today. So it was more like an early dinner. Lenny, don't you think you're a little young to have a koozie on your drink? That's pretty neat. You got the hard stuff in there? Here's a combine. Uh-oh? We don't do any uh-ohs in here. LibreCart continuing to be the unsung hero in the background of the grain cart operations. This will be about 6,000 bushels in that bin. I believe it can hold 10.5 to 11. I'm not exactly having the time of my life out here catching 2 combines out of this hilly farm. Between the terraces, the tile inlet, and the washes, it's next to impossible for me to catch them on the go. This is probably the largest hill we have on our farm. I'm sure some of you would call that flatland. So I know, relatively speaking, our ground is pretty flat compared to most of you. There's almost always a combine full waiting for me in this field. We've got all the horses working right now. Wonder if our bridge to the backside's crossable. Basically every season for the last 5 years, except for this one, this bridge right here has washed out from one of our numerous 4 or 5 inch rainfalls. Needless to say, we have trust issues. It doesn't exactly look that firm. air pockets in there, suckles maybe. Just gonna have to go across it to find out. So we're gonna tiptoe across with the front of this tractor. If anything gives out, we can just back out. Please don't collapse. Well, there was no issues that presented themselves. Looks crossable to me. You may need to watch out on the north side's a little narrow. Goes much faster, he may get a speeding ticket. There's not going to be much left of the yard where I've been tracking through. The tracks almost certainly help with compaction. I mean, they don't save your grass. That bin's getting close to stuffed. Easy does it. You're never going to guess what was waiting for me on the other side of the bridge. Not one combine, but two combines, both full. Speaking of being waited on, I text the guy who hunts this field, or this area, for deer. Deer hunters typically like to know if the crop's been removed. It seems to excite them. He subsequently texted me and said that he hunted out here last night and he saw a bobcat. A bobcat's the size of like a small to medium dog. I personally do not see a bobcat as a large threat to a person like me. That being said, I am going to be careful where I choose to use the restroom for the rest of the evening.
Dylan, I saw a 12-point buck earlier.
Might be slightly cruel to tell your hunter that you just saw a 12-point buck on the farm you're at right there, because that'd be like telling a shopaholic that Target's having 25% off. He or she very well may trample someone to get that deal. Katie's finished up on the backside of this field. There's a very clear inverse relationship between the productivity of farms in our operation and the looks of those farms. Our worst looking fields in terms of beauty, ambiance, trees, all that, are always our highest yielding. And on the opposite side of the coin, our worst performing fields have the nicest looking features. Pretty good sample of corn. I learned my lesson the other day not to stand directly downwind from that loading auger. We're at the bin site with about 1,200 bushels on the cart, and Jeff says the bin's about full, so boss is going to check it. Well, that answers that. Whoa! Oh! Okay, we're gonna proceed with loading the truck. It's just not going in the bin. It's gonna go to the elevator tomorrow. What an evening we have here. I found these cameras to be extremely useful when you're loading on the tarp side of the truck because you can actually see into it. That truck's full. There's one more bin that will probably load tomorrow, and I'm gonna dump the rest off on the truck that's sitting behind. Not quite gonna be a full load. So all the cart action for the night. According to LibreCart, that Pioneer 1077 on some more marginal acreage just made 234 dry. And it was in fact dry, almost too dry. Combine showed 13.5 to 14% across that field. It's 110-day corn though, so it's not surprising we didn't get it picked early enough. It's not really a big loss, all things considered. Can I interest you all in some trucking on this beautiful evening? The neighbor's wheat crop looks good. Always blessed to be farming. There's a lot going on west of Mattoon this evening. Here's our stop. Tate and Lyle, Cole Station. Well, if you want to be technical, it's not Tate and Lyle anymore. They go by Primient Grain. They were bought out by a private capital group, and they've kind of restructured a little bit. I don't know if that's Tate and Lyle as an entire company or just some of their satellite elevators. Honestly, mad respect to them and their crew for being open till 7 on a Saturday night. This place is buzzing right now. There's Jeff, just 2 trucks ahead of us. I'm actually having a blast in the truck right now. It was neat to actually get to leave the field where we were harvesting for once this year and go see what exactly is going on the countryside, especially right around sundown. Only a couple more in line before we get it done. We're next in line. We're dumping. Probe must have been down because they took a manual sample. 25,120 empty pounds. There's our ticket. As a matter of fact, no, I was not the last truck. There was actually 5 or 6 trucks that pulled in behind me. And I got here 15 minutes before it closed, so you can't really ask for much more courtesy out of a farmer like me. Homebound. Back at home base. It's hard being a super trucker, but someone's got to do it. On paper, it definitely wasn't the most productive day of harvest to have ever existed. Fields like where we were at are definitely ones where a 12-row corn head or something larger than an 8-row would shine for their average efficiency through the field. There's just so much turning, the terraces, unloading issues, all of that combined, not to mention a lack of grain cart capacity to move back and forth without both combines stopping. That being said, that's definitely going to be the end of the line for me today. I greatly appreciate every single one of you tuning in and continuing to support the channel. I sure hope I see you in the next episode, but until then, make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more, and comment down below if you have any questions. You know I love to talk about farming. Have a great day, everyone. Peace!